हरि ओम.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Untold Truth. I'm Master Eric, and this is Shivanan. Welcome, Shivanan.
Good evening, good evening.
You're back again.
Yes.
And I want to welcome all the listeners. And I also want to thank U97.5 FM radio, which is actually putting us on live right now. And all of everybody, international, local, that are viewing us live here on social media, we want to say thank you. All of you, thank you for listening and thank you for watching the program. If I look a little red tonight, I look like a little lobster because we were doing spiritual things on the beach today and it was fantastic.
Lovely.
I loved it.
Yeah.
But during this program, about 20 minutes, about 20 after 6. The radio is going to break off for a couple minutes so the Muslims can break fast. And that's fine with me. We're going to keep going on. And then they're going to put us back. You're going to put you guys back on so they could listen to us. All right? But Shivanan, we got a topic tonight. And I want everybody out there to, if you have a paper and pencil, so you could put down your notes. And if you want to WhatsApp a question, you WhatsApp it, international, 1-868-354-4459. Or locally, just drop the 1-868 and just put in 354-4459. And we'll look at your messages coming in, and we'll address them as we go. So, Shivanan, tonight is the subject, why? And I'm going to say it a little bit what it is. The reason we're doing it tonight, everybody's doing it. And this is what is going to shock some people tonight.
Okay.
Right? Because we're not aware what we're doing. We're doing what society dictates. What is the norm? Okay? This is what catches us. And you hang yourself. Even though you said, well, no, everybody else is doing it, so why don't I do it? Right? But the thing is, you're not supposed to do what everybody else does if it's not right.
Right.
Okay? So tonight's topic, everyone that's listening, It is earth crimes. So what would you get arrested for?
Right.
And what would you be put in jail for?
Right.
Versus sins.
Okay.
So this is what we're going to talk about tonight, everybody. Earth crimes versus sins. Or you could say man's law versus God's law.
Yeah.
We could say it that way too. So Shiv, what do you think we do as humans every day that is not a crime, but it is a serious sin?
Oh, you put me on the spot there, Master. Well, I would think like, a simple thing like, like lying, telling a white lie or something like that. A simple thing like a lie is a sin. But you may not get put in prison for it.
Correct. But then some people, they say, I don't really lie. I tell little white lies. Well, the thing is,
A lie is
a lie is a lie. I don't care what color you give it, because that little lie can turn into a bigger one, right? So how many people do you think lie per day?
I would think almost 100% of individuals.
True. Now, when we go, but it's not a crime to lie. The only time it's really a crime to lie in court is when you're under oath.
Right.
You can cause perjury.
Okay, right.
Okay? But in the normal, everyday activity of a human, it's not a crime.
Right.
Okay? So anytime you have to put your hand on the Bible or the Bhagavad Gita or the Quran, you better say the truth.
The whole truth.
And you should say it all the time, the truth. But the problem is, and you know why people lie?
Why they lie?
A lot of people can't handle the truth. And the response you get back isn't very good. So people kind of, I don't know how you say it. In Trinidad, it's not a mama guy, but you try to beat around the bush.
Right.
To where you don't have to directly answer the question, right? So they don't catch it. But that's one example.
Right.
Okay? Now, is speeding a sin?
Oh,
Or is it a chargeable crime?
it is a chargeable crime, in my understanding, from what it is, I think.
Correct. But technically, it's not a sin.
No, I wouldn't rate it as a sin.
Correct. Okay, so this is one that shows the difference.
Right.
Now let's get to the good one. Is in man's world, and I don't want to say man, I should say humankind,
Right.
because women are just as important as men,
Right.
right? Is committing adultery a crime in Trinidad and Tobago, and also, and I have to be specific, 221 countries? It's not a crime.
No.
But in those other ones I did not list, it's a serious crime. And you'll be put to death
Wow.
in some of them. Okay? So it's not a crime here. But is it a sin?
Oh, yes, definitely.
That's one of the main sins that we should never do. Now, in the ancient scriptures, do you know what the penalty for each time someone commits adultery, each time, I'm not talking for the 10 years.
Oh, you're talking about
I'm talking each time
Wow.
committing adultery. Do you know what the penalty is in the ancient scriptures?
No.
500 years. You have to pay that off.
Wow.
So if there's people listening and you're doing it now, it's not too late to stop.
Right.
And it's not too late to try to change and put things back around, right? But that's a serious offense. So now when we start looking at our life, is gossiping a crime?
No, it's not a crime.
So people here don't get arrested for gossiping.
Not that I know.
Actually, I think you guys call it down here, Trinity's love bacchanal, right? Which, that's pretty much what it is. It's some type of gossip,
Right.
right? So now, but is gossiping a sin?
Yes.
Now, I'm going to start talking now in the Christian faith. There are there's a reason why I'm saying this. There's the main 10 commandments,
Right.
right? And everybody should abide by the 10 commandments.
Right.
But that is the main commandments. Now, why do you think I'm saying that?
I'm not sure why.
Because also, in some of the oldest Bibles, some of them, there are 613 commandments.
Wow.
I just got them printed out to where we photograph the pages out of the scriptures.
Right.
And we've got it. And I'm going to have a program on that. Because then people will say, well, why didn't they tell me gossiping is wrong? You know, it's not in the 10 commandments, so I don't think it's wrong.
No.
Lying, backbiting, backstabbing,
All that's
lust. Now, is it a crime? If it is, everybody be in jail. Is it a crime to lust after someone?
no.
Why is it not a crime?
Oh, because you're not committing anything physical, like, if you understand what I'm saying, like to harm them physically or in the law's eye, like physical damage or these different things. So you lost after a person, so you chase after him, but so in my eyes, I don't think it's a crime.
Right. Now, is it a sin to lust after someone?
Yes.
Now, this is where I need people to really understand what I'm trying to get across tonight. Because the sins link up to what some call karma
Right.
and some call good deeds and bad deeds. Okay? Now, when does a sin start to manifest? When does that sin of any class of sins,
Right.
when does that class or that category start to kick in?
Well, from thought.
All action comes from thought.
Right.
There had to be a thought of some kind
Right.
before the action took place.
Definitely.
So now, all of you listening, how many had your thought, but you didn't commit the action? you sinned.
But is it the full sin? Because I sure every person that listening on here today had, some type of thought, and then they pull themselves back, they said, you know what, this is not right. I know they are committing a sin, but is it the same as if they do it, or?
Okay, in the ancient scriptures, they state in the classification of karma, the thought is the same as the act.
Wow.
So this is why, as individuals, we're supposed to be more in control
Right.
of our desires, our senses, our thoughts. If we have more control of how we think, how we process things,
Right.
don't you think we are more apt to not commit
Definitely.
those thoughts?
Yeah.
Now, there's a difference between that person is good looking.
Right.
You're just comment, you say you were good looking with no
Yeah.
sexual thought.
You just admire
In your
that.
mind.
You just admire that beauty. and
Correct.
You stop. Yeah.
That's it,
right. Yeah.
right? There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But once your mind starts to kick in, to start categorizing and starting to think, this is what could happen,
Right.
that is wrong. Now, being caught with a certain amount of marijuana on you, is that a crime? Over the limit. There's a limit that you could have
Right.
and not be charged.
Right.
But if you have over the legal limit,
Right.
is that a crime?
Yes, it is a crime.
You can be charged.
Right.
But is that a sin?
That's a tough one. Well, I would think, in some form, the intentions to what you're going to do with it, because we all know that if you smoke those things, it damages brain cells or these different things, right? So isn't that a type of sin?
What if you have it for your own personal use
Right.
and you use it for relaxation? And there's a lot of scientists that say that marijuana does not damage you as much as cigarettes.
Right.
But is it a crime to have it? Now we're changing it. To have it, no, it's sin. And it's a crime. To have it with the intent of distributing and selling.
Oh, you caught me in the middle.
Then
Yeah, you caught
one
me.
is not a crime or a sin, but the other one is.
Yes.
I want you to understand.
Yeah, yeah.
So when we go through our everyday life, and before I go anywhere, I want to say thank you for our sponsor, ZMB Communications Limited, located at Fred's Plaza, 26 Eastern Main Road, San Juan. And their numbers are 292-6470 and 392-2986. So let's go on a little further. We're going to start treading water real fast.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it a crime to have relations, i.e. sex, with persons, if you're single, that you're not married with?
You're asking if it is a crime.
Yes.
No, it's not a crime.
Right.
Right.
Is it a sin to conduct that act?
Then if the both person is single.
Yeah. Unmarital relationship.
I would think based on knowledge and
I'm
scriptures.
talking what scriptures say.
Right. I would think is a sin.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, how many people do you think are guilty of that?
Well, I can't say a number, but it's a huge percentage.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I'm doing this tonight is for people to kind of think before they start to react,
Right.
right? If you can catch it, it's not as bad,
Right.
okay? Now, let's go over a little more, right? Is it a crime to be jealous of someone?
No, it's not a crime to be jealous.
Is it a sin to be jealous of someone?
Yes. Yes.
So why do everybody do this?
Well, I guess then some people just not educated was never taught that, meaning that everybody experience what I believe in. Everybody experience these seeds they plant based on karmic actions from past life, this life, different lives. So the life you live is based on your own doing. So when you see what someone has and you feel jealous, it come like you kind of like.
So why not do the basic principle and work hard and try to achieve it?
Yeah.
Instead of saying, well, why do they have it and I don't? This isn't right. Now, let's go on a little further. Is it a crime to hinder thy neighbor?
No, it's not a crime to hinder.
It depends on how far you hinder. You could put your wall 3 foot on his side, so you'll end up in court.
Oh, well, I was
So
thinking
what
about
I'm saying,
Right.
is it right at all to hinder thy neighbor?
No, it's not right.
Is it a sin to hinder thy neighbor?
Yes.
So, all these land disputes, property disputes, those angels on their shoulders are real busy
Yes.
documenting what we do. See, everybody, we have a lot of scriptures in the world, not just Christian, Muslims too. They say you have 2 angels, one on one shoulder, one on the other.
Yeah.
One is documenting what you do good, and one is documenting what you do bad. So, and everything that we do in life, whether people see you or not, or you're by yourself, or nobody's around, this information is being accumulated every day, all day.
Right.
We sleep, they do not sleep.
Right.
Now, in the Eastern beliefs, they call it everything is being gathered and submitted up into the Akashic records,
Right.
right? Now, this one I'm going to stay on for a little while. Is it a crime to judge someone
No, it's not
as
a
a
crime.
person?
No, it's not a crime.
Is it a sin to judge someone?
Yeah.
So, why are we judging people? Now, that is one of the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not judge. So let's go into this a little further. a lot of times I'm confused. Not often,
A lot of time.
sometimes. And when I get confused is when I'm in a religious place. The 10 Commandments said, thou shalt not judge. But then I hear the person in front even condemning the other Christian church down the road and saying they're wrong, that he's only right. He's judging.
Yeah.
They also state that the other beliefs are wrong and they're going to hell.
Oh.
He's judging.
Yeah.
Nothing in the scriptures of any belief gives a human the power to judge someone else in God's law.
Right.
Man's law is different.
Right.
We have judges, we have courts. Right? So why are we doing what we're not supposed to do? Isn't God the ultimate judge?
Yeah.
So what he's saying, let's put it in layman's terms. Hey, all you down there, you don't judge.
Right.
When somebody oversteps the boundary, I will deal with it when they come to me.
Right.
You understand? So that's why, and there's one description of when the soul leaves the body, when they pass on. And I have to say it, even though I'm an ordained minister and I also do other beliefs. The Quran has the best description, right? And as soon as your soul, right before you die, is ready to exit out of your body, the Lord of Death messengers are right there. And they know already whether you are a good soul or a vile soul.
Right.
Now, in the scripture, I'm not going to quote word for word.
Right.
We can at a later date. But what they're saying, the vile soul will try to hold on. Right? They will rip that soul out of the body. And then as they're carrying the soul, the angels, they will stretch out far and wide and say, who is this vile soul? And they'll say, his name is such and such. He is the son of such and such. They'll say, what is this foul smell? And it keeps going on like that until they reach the gates of Allah.
Right.
And the gates are locked. But one description that I love out of the Quran is that Allah stated, those can enter my kingdom when a camel can fit through the eye of a needle. So what does that mean? Never.
Yeah.
And then they talk about going across the bridge. And we'll go over all of that before, in other programs. But what I'm trying to show people, that everything we do in life is individual accountability. Do you think when we go up and we stand in front of God Almighty Himself, we can barter? Or we can make excuses and say, this person made me do it.
And society was
And
this way.
society made me do it. But then, the question may be asked, Did you know what was right and what was wrong?
And 90% of the time, people know what is right and what is wrong.
Well, this is where we talked before on other programs. This is where, one, people are not being taught properly.
Right.
If the information isn't going out to the people, now I'm going to be honest. There are some people in the world that doesn't know anything hardly about Jesus Christ, God,
Yeah.
even the other religions,
Right.
beliefs. They don't know. They've been kept away from that. Okay? So, the question is, when we go up, there's only one thing that can happen when we go up. And that is, we have to stand full accountability of our actions, whether they were good or bad.
Right.
You will receive blessings for the good deeds you've done, and you will have a debt to pay off for those that are not good. So let's go a little further. Charity. Charity is recognized all over the world, correct?
Yes.
And it's a good thing to do
Yeah.
for people that are in need. You know, disaster areas, there's many different categories that we could do charity for.
Yes.
Or it could be to help a company develop a new drug
Right.
for cancer or anything, right? Or charity for battered wives or anything like that, right? Now, does God give you good marks for charity that you do when you expect to receive something back from it?
If
What is written. I'm not saying we can never try to think like God.
Right.
He is the ultimate, right? But what scriptures say, if we are doing it only for fame or for name recognition, it's not a crime.
But it's a sin.
It's not looked at good at all.
Right.
Because in the ancient scriptures, they talk about people who went to hell. And the man said, I never murdered anybody. I never raped anybody. I never hardly cursed anybody. I did all this charity. But the question that came back to him, who was the charity for? You or who you were giving the money to? He wanted his name broadcast everywhere. He wanted recognition. Charity is supposed to be a selfless service
Right.
in life. When we help people, it's supposed to be selfless. Okay? So this is one that people have to start looking at. Now, one of the 10 Commandments, love thy neighbor. Oh my God. Here in Trinidad especially. It happens in the U.S., it happens all over. 70% of the people that come and see us every week, there's a problem with the neighbor.
Yeah.
And it's causing confusion everywhere. People, try not to fight fire with fire. Try dialogue. If it doesn't, keep your distance. Don't try to fight anybody. Okay? Now, when we go through, is hatred a crime?
Hatred is not a crime.
But is hatred a sin?
Yes, it is a sin. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
How can you love thy neighbor when it's okay not to commit a sin, to hate him?
You basically, that's opposite. Yeah.
See, what I'm trying to say to everybody, this is happening every day.
Yeah.
Everything that we're doing, right? Now, what this program is supposed to do again is to give some people awareness.
Right.
Some type of thought now, when we're doing all these different things, we catch it and say, whoa. Let me back up.
Right.
Let me correct this. Let me make this right. Okay? Now, I'm going to trick you this one.
All right.
Is stealing something a crime?
Well, stealing is, so it depends on what you steal, or like who you steal from, or these different things.
Or is there a dollar amount that is set so when you steal something, and is it larceny or is it grand larceny? Those are crimes.
Right.
But if somebody came and stole my Diana Power Mint, is that a crime?
Well, it's not looked at as a crime.
But is it classed as a sin?
Yeah, because stealing is stealing no matter where you steal, and it's a spiritual sin. It's a sin. Yeah.
Right. So let me ask you something. If we, and in 2 minutes I have to do my advertisement again. If someone gives you too much money, the hundreds got stuck together,
Right.
and you give them the money, and they see, you see,
The extra
they
100.
gave you an extra $100.
Nice. This is a nice one. I like this one.
And you didn't let them know, and you pocket that extra money. Is that a crime?
Well, it's not a crime because the person you wouldn't be like in trouble for it like physically, but I wouldn't view it as a crime.
The reason it may not be classed as a crime because no one knows what happened yet.
Right.
But in God's eyes, is it a sin to not report to that person and say, you gave me too much?
Because if you don't report it, technically, indirectly, you're stealing. Because you know that you're not supposed to get, that is not yours, right? But you still took it and stayed quiet. That is still stealing.
Let me go to another one, which happens every day. I cannot go into a store, a grocery store, and not witness it. How many people, and it's not the children's fault. So the children is not committing the sin.
Right.
As they're going down the aisles, they say, Mommy, 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 I want this pack of potato chips. Or I want this candy bar. I want that cookie. So they give them the cookie, the kid's eating it. But when you get to the cash register, you hide the package and not pay for it. Is that a sin?
Yeah. But it's not
But
a
the
sin on
child
child.
is innocent of the sin.
Because technically it's the parents that give him or her That
No, it's the parents' decision whether you don't hide the package and pay for it.
so it's in their hands.
Or correct.
Yeah.
Okay? So I want people to start looking at what we see every day. Okay, as we go through life. Right? Now, before I go on, I want to thank again ZMB Communications Limited, Franz Plaza, and 26 Eastern Main Road in San Juan. And their numbers are 292-6470 or 392-2986. So, I want other people to actually look at this a certain way. I'm going to word this to catch people. Okay? You ready?
Yeah.
It states, "Thou shalt not pray or recognize any other God but I."
All right.
So let's go with that for a little bit. Do you know what's so funny? I love how humans think. They're thinking, "Oh my God. You see those idols those people praying to?
Ah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
They're praying to idols."
Right.
Okay? They're going to hell. First of all, they can't say that.
Because they are judging.
They're judging. So
Right.
you're breaking a commandment to try to stand up for one.
Right.
I mean, this don't make sense, right? The next one is, what is classified as an idol? Ah, this is where the education of humankind just went in the toilet.
Right.
Okay? What is the definition, or what is the layman definition
Right.
of an idol?
Well, an idol is like what most people say, like, is a statue and it's lifeless. Like, something like that.
An idol. So is an idol something that is a symbol? Can't a symbol be an idol?
Yes.
Right. But listen to the words. Do not pray to any other God but I. That's layman, that's not word for word, but that's the gist of it.
And what they mean by that, if I could share, is
Go ahead.
like the gods like money. People worship money over God. Sometimes they do.
Bingo! This is what I've been looking for.
Right.
Anything or anyone that you put in before God is a major sin. So those people who are saying, "Bring me money, 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 money. I need more money. We need to do this for money." Or they put that money that was taken for a huge house. Now they're worshiping the house because they feel so proud. Their ego, it builds them up. Now ego is built from some type of power.
Right.
Whether it's from personal power, emotional power, mental power, or money power. So now, are all those types fall also under this category?
Yeah.
So why don't they preach it?
Well, I guess most people don't even understand that statement you said first. One. Because
Don't pray to any other God. So what I'm saying, anything that you put or anyone before you get to God is wrong. It's a sin. So now, and one of the best descriptions and defenses that I ever saw was when I read in the Bible when they were going to stone Mary Magdalene. And Jesus stated, let anyone who has not committed a sin throw the first rock. He was going to let him. But Jesus knew in everyone's conscious minds, everyone knew they have sinned.
Right.
So, before we judge, condemn, and chastise anyone out here, shouldn't we look inward first?
Definitely.
Okay? And all we're trying to do, people, is let you understand in layman's terms and be aware of what's right and what's wrong. So, in every belief, in the same words or maybe just a little variation,
Yeah.
doesn't it state, honor thy father and honor thy mother?
Yes.
Some even go further saying, you will not be successful and you have sinned if you do not receive the blessings, especially from the mother.
Yeah.
Okay? So, what are we doing out here? What are we doing out here?
Yeah.
Now, we do have some violent parents.
Yeah.
We do have some that isn't good with their children, right? But let's say you had good parents,
Yeah.
but the kids are spoiled. Now, here's the one. And when we go through all the commandments on another program, you're going to see it. Is it a crime to spoil your child?
No, it's not a crime to spoil your child because parents, it's not a crime. There's nothing wrong in doing. In man's
Is it
eye.
a sin to spoil your
Yes.
child? And there's going to be a lot of people listening today, and they're going to be asking, what is going on to here? Here's a question that just came in. Is smoking weed a sin? Doesn't Lord Shiva smoke? The question is no. The answer to that is no. Now, in the ancient scriptures, they do talk about a tea, like a drink,
Yeah.
right? We went over it. Us having weed, smoking weed is not a crime. In some cases, it is used for medical reasons.
Right. Which is also
That
not a sin.
would be not a sin.
Right.
But if you have it and you are distributing it with the intent to sell to others,
Right.
that's a sin. But there is other interpretations. I'm glad they wrote this. That comes up. Doesn't it say in all scriptures to take care of God's temple?
Yes.
What is God's temple? Also your body,
Right.
because it's holding and carrying your soul. Now, if we put something in our bodies that alters our senses, our decision making, our actions, could that be classed as a sin?
Yeah. I would say yes.
But you know there's going to be a lot of people out here that's going to say, no, 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 no. There has to be a measurement. There has to be a measurement. Just like drunk driving. You can't be over X, you're okay.
Yeah.
Right? That's in man's law.
Right.
But anything that alters your senses and does damage to yourself, it may not be just weed.
Yeah, it could be anything.
It could be
alcohol,
cocaine, crack,
yeah.
heroin,
Yeah.
right? But now in other countries, they're trying to legalize a certain amount of heroin and crack, right? They're passing out crack pipes, right? So what I'm trying to say, just because man is starting to do this, should we follow?
No. Just because everyone is doing it doesn't mean it's right.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if everybody is jumping off a cliff, are you going to follow them and jump off because they jumped off too?
No.
I don't think I would. I'd probably be sitting there saying, why did they jump off the cliff? You know, I'm going to account for my own individual actions
Right.
in this. Now, we've covered quite a bit of ground in 50 minutes. We've got 10 minutes left. Where do you think we're going to head during this last 10 minutes? Think of everyday life. What do we do that is a norm, but it's a sin? Do you want me to play the Jeopardy tune? Dun, 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 dun. No, I just want you to think a little bit, because there's a lot of things we do that isn't quite right. Now, I want to go back on the religious side a little bit. Is it a crime to push someone in making a religious decision, i.e., it could be accepting Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior,
Right.
or baptism, christening,
Right.
all of these things? Is it a crime to push someone into those decisions?
It's not a crime, because if it was a crime, it would have a lot of people in prison for that.
Now, is it a crime to push someone and let them know if they don't do that, they're going to hell? There's judgment.
Right. But that's not a.
No, listen. That right there is judgment being done right there.
Yeah, so they already break.
So right there,
Yes.
to whoever's doing that. Number 2, isn't it a sin to have somebody do something against their own free will?
It is a sin.
So, a person should be guided. A person should get information. A person should have some guidance in order so they can understand properly, because that's a big decision.
Right.
That's one of the best decisions you can make in your life,
Right.
right? But forcing someone with the intent, with fear, to manipulate them to make a decision, that is classed as spiritual rape. That's a strong statement. But it's true. You know, anything that we do in life, and we force somebody to do something against their free will, no matter what the situation
Right.
is wrong. I want people to understand this. Everything we've been saying tonight is not new. Everything we're saying tonight should have been said in every belief, because it's all about the same.
Right.
It's just the practice of each one is a little different.
Right.
Because if you've seen me, I've got all the scriptures of every belief. And we go through it because I'm training you.
Right.
And I'm showing you, see the comparison, see this, see that, see this.
Yeah.
Right? And see where this one got this? They got this from 6,000 years ago. Okay? Now, I want people to understand. What is destroying the world today is humankind itself.
Yeah.
What is destroying our karmic actions is humankind themselves.
And that is so true.
So isn't it time that we stand up and we start letting people know? Now, for the last 4 minutes, I'm going to get into one that shouldn't, but I'm going to get into it. Politics.
Good.
When we're on stage and we're trying to convince the people in front of us not to go with the other one, and we start talking about all this trash they do. Now, is it a sin to talk hearsay about someone else, especially when it's bad, that you had no idea, you were not there, you did not see it,
Right.
and you weren't there to hear it?
Right.
Isn't that gossip?
Yeah, definitely.
So it's a sin. Why are we doing it? They say the papers say this, they say that, they do this. See what they've done? You don't know. You understand? When somebody comes to me and says, Master, you know what this person did to this one over here? You know what I tell them? Who cares? That has nothing to do with me. If it has nothing to do with me, I'm not going to entertain the conversation. Now, if those people want to come and get advice or guidance,
Right.
they can come.
Right.
But I will not entertain a negative conversation about something that I did not see and I did not hear.
Yeah, because it doesn't.
Do you know why? I have an angel on both shoulders.
You're trying to lessen their work.
Yeah, sometimes I bet they're tired. You know, a lot of people, they're probably exhausted. One guy's over there having a party. The other guy's exhausted, right? People, just be aware of what you're doing. We didn't even cover near the amount of things that we do in life. Norms. That word norm is very dangerous. It is the downfall also. When I came to Trinidad and Tobago, long time ago, probably around a little longer than you're born, I've been here. You know, you sit there and you watch society, right? and I started getting confused. I would hear a parent tell their child, do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, I think a lot of people heard that saying.
So what I'm trying to say is we got one that came in and said, hi. Okay. Now, hello.
Right.
The thing is, we need to start not looking at everyone else. And I think we need to start looking within. See how we can better ourselves in life instead of, is stereotyping, and we're almost done. I want to say thank you to CMB Communications Limited. They're located at Fred's Plaza, 26 Eastern Main Road, San Juan. And their numbers are 292-6470 and 392-2986. I also want to say thank you for U97.5 FM for airing this broadcast. And everyone, I wish we had another hour because I really wanted to get in some sticky subjects and let you really understand what's going on, but we don't have the time. But we want to say thank you, everybody, for listening, being with us, and wait till next week. It's going to be a real good one.